Om Namo Bhagavate Devaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naran Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayat Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः नमो पङ्कजनाभाय नमो पङ्कजमालिने नमो पङ्कजनेत्राय नमस्ते पङ्कजाङ्घ्रि. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 14, verses 1 to 11, the system of universal management. Text 1. Maharaja Parikshit inquired, O most opulent Sukadeva Goswami, please explain to me how Manu and others in each Manvantara are engaged in their respective duties, and by whose order they are so engaged. Text 2. Sukadeva Goswami said, the Manus, the son of Manu, the great sages, the Indra, and all the demigods, O king, are appointed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in various incarnations such as Yajna. Text 3. O king, I have already described to you various incarnations of the Lord, such as Yajna. The Manus and others are chosen by the incarnation, under whose direction they conduct the universal affair. Text 4. At the end of every 4 yugas, the great saintly persons, upon saying that the eternal occupational duties of mankind have been misused, re-establish the principles of religion. Text 5. Thereafter, O king, the Manus, being fully engaged according to the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly re-establish the principles of the occupational duty in its full 4 parts. Text 6. To enjoy the results of the sacrifices, yajnas, the rulers of the world, namely the sons and the grandsons of Manu, discharge the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead until the end of Manu's reign. The demigods also share the results of their sacrifices. Text 7. Indra, king of heaven, receiving benedictions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thus enjoying highly developed opulences, maintains the living entities all over the 3 worlds by pouring sufficient rain on all the planets. Text 8. In every yuga, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, assumes the form of siddhas such as Sanakas to preach transcendental knowledge. He assumes the form of great saintly persons such as Yajnavalkya to teach the way of karma. And he assumes the form of great yogis such as Dattatreya to teach the system of mystic yoga. Text 9. In the form of Prajapati Marichi, the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates progeny. Becoming the king, he kills the thieves and rogues. And in the form of time, he annihilates everything. All the different qualities of the material existence, such should be understood to be qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 10. People in general are bewildered by the illusionary energy and therefore they try to find the absolute truth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, though various types of researches and philosophical speculation, nonetheless they are unable to see the Supreme Lord. Text 11. In one kalpa or one day of Brahma, there takes place the many changes called vikalpas. O king, all of these have been previously described to you by me. Learned scholars who know the past, present, and future have ascertained that in one day of Brahma there are 14 Manus. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 14, entitled The System of Universal Management. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Prabhuji, please accept our humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please take over the call, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Radharani Mataji. Thank you, Swamini Gopi Mataji, for reading translation today. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradari Kripambuditamaham Prapadye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langete girum yatkrupatamahamam vande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So there's a new section we are seeing today. So in the earlier section, Sukadeva Goswami describes all the 14 Manus. They rule one day of Brahmaji. So 1,000 kalpas. So each Manu rules about 71 plus kalpas. So all the 14 Manus, the names, their descendants, and the how in each of the Manu, the Lord appears in different forms. The Lord Vishnu appears. So Sukadeva Goswami gives some examples of how Bali Maharaj, when Bali Maharaj was when Bali Maharaj and Indra, there was a conflict. At that time, Lord Vishnu appeared. Like that, Lord appeared as Yajna, and Lord appears in different avatars in different names. And then he reestablishes, he appoints all these demigods. So the entire management is being done under the rule of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like that, Sukadeva Goswami explains all the 14 Manus, they come and go. And then now in this new chapter, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining to an question that's asked by Parishit Maharaj. So now Parishit Maharaj is asking how the Manus and others in each Manvantra are engaged in the respective duties and whose order they are so engaged. It's a very specific question that Parishit Maharaj is asking. So if these 14 Manus are actually establishing the laws that are supposed to be followed by mankind, then Parishit Maharaj would like to know who is actually giving the orders and so how are they engaged in the respective duties. So now if you so Sukadeva Goswami starts elaborating from the second verse onwards. So now immediately he is giving the answer on the question. He is Sarve Purusha Sashanaha. So Sashana under the rule of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And then he gives an example like the Supreme Personality of Godhead takes many incarnations, such as Yajna. So he gives this example. So just like that, he rules under his order all these Manus. Not only Manus, all the Monayas, the sages, Mahipate, the great demigods, Indraha, the Indra, Shuraganas, all the demigods, everybody is basically under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he's directly giving that answer. And then from verse number 3 onwards, he's describing about the various occupational duties, how Lord directly and indirectly manages everything. So, for example, in a small house, how the occupational duties happens from morning to night. It's under the father and mother give direction to children. So similarly, the whole thing happens under the 14 Manus, and how everything happens. A little bit of detail is being given here. So here now Parishit Maharaj is addressing, O King. Now, so just like the Lord incarnated as Yajna, so now all of these Manus, And the other incarnations, the seven sages, and then the universal affairs, the demigods, everything is like a post. Everything is like just like in office, a CEO appoints each and every directors, project managers, technical specialists. Everything is basically a post, and each post there is a person, and the person has a name also. So like that, the Lord appoints each and every post of the universal affairs. He appoints somebody, and then that person takes over the occupational duties of that particular post. And under the direction of Supreme Lord, everything is conducted. So the Manus are also similarly executing their orders just like that. So and then now this word prochoditaha, so like inspired, like, so now everyone gets that inspiration from the Supreme Lord. And then the orders as well as the inspiration. No, it's not like just, Supreme Lord is not just making everybody do under the whip. He's inspiring everybody, and he's also empowering everybody to do this occupational duties. So, a good leader is always, he doesn't force, not just by force, he inspires and he also sets an example, right? So, Srila Prabhupada was actually an excellent leader. He never actually forced any of his disciples to do anything. So, he was inspiring by his own example. He was preaching more than anybody else. And he was sleeping only very few hours because he likes it. He likes by his will. It's not by force. So he has his own his own attraction towards Krishna is so so much so that he couldn't even sleep. He was thinking that's a waste of time. So he was so much attracted to Krishna, he was serving like anything, that everybody else got inspired by his service and they also followed. So similarly, Supreme Lord is empowering these demigods, and he's also inspiring by various incarnations appearing in this different yugas. And all of this happens according to his will, according to his order. So now Sukadeva Goswami is going to little bit of detail how the occupational duties are established in each kalpa. There are different yugas. Chatur Yugante Kalena. So according to the time, there are four yugas. And in these four yugas, Tapasa Rishayo Apashyan Yato Dharma Sanatanaha. So in these, the eternal occupational duties, the Sanatana or Dharma, is saying is gets misused, and then to re-establish the principles of religion, the Lord, the saintly persons, they appear. So now, so this word Prabhupada always explains what is dharma and what is sanatana. In Bhagavad Gita also he writes this word sanatana. The actual meaning was given by Sri Srimana Ramanujacharya. So he was the one who gave the actual meaning, and then Prabhupada takes that particular meaning and so eternal occupational duty. The word Sanatana is, eternal occupational duty, and Dharma is, occupational duty. Like just like if we take anything, it has its own characteristics. Like the salt has its salty characteristics, the chili has its characteristics. It cannot be changed. Similarly, the characteristics of the occupational duties of a living entity is service. So that service cannot be changed, and that service has to be rendered in a loving devotional service towards the Supreme Lord. So in each and yuga, this service is rendered to mature this loving devotional service in its maturity. There are different processes. So from Satya Yuga to Kali Yuga, this occupational duty kind of deteriorates slowly. From Satya Yuga, it is 100%, and then it slowly deteriorates to Kali Yuga. And then when it deteriorates, the saintly people, they come and re-establish the religion under the order of Supreme Lord. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, it says that Kale dosha nide rajan asti eko mahanaguna kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajat. So the Kali Yuga is basically the last yuga in the Kalpa, where there are ocean of falls. There are so many falls. The ocean of falls, if somebody is interested in fault finding, there is no end in Kali Yuga. So they can keep on going. But if somebody wants to take the benefit of Kali Yuga, there is one great benefit. So Sukadeva Goswami says, Asti eko mahan gunan kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param vrajet. So from all the problems, we can get liberation and we can get the highest benefit, param vrajet. So by doing this, Kirtanadeva Krishnasya, we can glorify Lord Krishna by his name, form, qualities, and activities. So that way one can get this highest benefit of relieving himself from all problems, all aspects of miseries, and he can completely transcend this material world problems. And at the end of life, he can also transcend this material world. So now, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came in the Kali Yuga as a Channa avatar, as a hidden incarnation just 500 years ago. And he started this Sankirtana movement, so Krishna Kirtana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to chant and dance and walk in the streets. He was chanting. So after he was initiated, he was he was always chanting. And when the sannyasis asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you're supposed to be reading Vedanta, you're a sannyasi, so why you're like sentimentally always just dancing, chanting? And he said like, Guru deke murka, Guru mane murka deke, like Guru actually said you are just, mad, you cannot understand the Shastra, so for you just chant the holy name. So he was taking such humble position, but everybody knew that he was actually a Vedic Pandit. He was a scholar, that he read all the Nyaya Shastra in very, very young age. So he was setting an example that actually chanting the holy name of the Lord and diving deep into the glories of Supreme Lord is not ordinary, is actually the highest position that one can get. So Jivere Swarupa Hai, Krishnere Nityadas. That's the eternal occupational duty. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to establish. All the other processes, like, becoming a great scholar and Nyaya Shastra, memorizing all the verses, anything that's a process to achieve this position, the process to achieve that, this eternal position of being in service to the Supreme Lord. That mood is so hard to get. If somebody gets that mood, then the process is not important, the means to get. So that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna conscious movement also Prabhupada says, that is the sum and substance. The eternal occupational duty of human being is to serve Krishna. So sometimes the reporters used to ask Srila Prabhupada, why don't we name this movement as God movement or something else, so that everybody can join. So he said, no, Krishna, I just want to establish Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That is my goal. Prabhupada was so confident that if I establish Krishna as Bhagavan, then the whole problems will be gone. People will be happy and they can understand. So who's God? So in the same chapter, it is going to come up like Lord takes so many incarnations. He even takes the form of great personalities like kings, Manus. Sometimes he appears as Indra, sometimes as Prajapati. So he takes many, many incarnations. But if we have to understand him, then we have to go to the source. No. So we cannot understand him because illusory energy, the Maya Javanika Channam, Ajnana Adokshajam. So his illusionary energy is so powerful that it covers. So if you have to understand, then we have to understand by understanding Krishna, understanding Lord Vishnu. So that way we can pour our love towards the source and then understand who is the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, if you have to understand the Lord through his various incarnations or various avatars or various powers, energies, then it is difficult to understand him. So, uh, so here, Tato Dharmam Chatushpadam. So now Sukadeva Goswami started to elaborate that Dharma is four parts. Occupational duties, it has its four parts. These directly, all of these Manus and everybody else are engaged under the Supreme Personality Godhead to re-establish the principles of occupational duties in these four parts. Kale, Mahim, Rupa. So now from Bhagavad Gita we know that this knowledge is coming through Vivashwan, the sun god, and then it comes to Manu, and then from Manu to Ikshvaku, the kings like that, everybody got this knowledge. Imam Vivashvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivashwan Manave Praha Manur Ikshvakave Bravit. So, like that, this knowledge is coming down, and Lord Krishna is the original source of this knowledge. He is the Adi Guru, he is giving all this knowledge. So now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he also preached all over India. Now, under the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions, all the great acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, they are also preaching. So, Prabhupada is, in a way, directly or indirectly asking all of us that one should become a guru and preach the Lord's instruction all over the world for the peace and prosperity of humanity. So the Lord, we can understand the Lord works in different ways. He works directly and indirectly through his energies. So all of us, all of our living entities are energies of the Lord. If one gets inspired by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings and by Srila Prabhupada's teachings, he can also become Guru and teach all over the world. So, and then Sukadeva Goswami goes on explaining that how there are different yajnas, there are different sacrifices in different yugas. And all of these sacrifices have some certain results, and these results are shared by demigods, and then they in turn they bless the humanity. So like that, under the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of these happens as for the peaceful prosperity of the planets. So everyone is under the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the essence that Sukadeva Goswami is trying to explain here. So evam parampara pratam imam raja rishiyo viduhu. So this is like the chain of disciplic succession coming from the Supreme Lord himself and goes to all of these acharyas and gurus. These are all of this chain of disciplic succession. The Lord's energy is being dissipated, and everyone becomes happy by accepting this order. So and then Sukadeva Goswami goes on to explain how Lord Indra, the king of all the demigods, he also gets benedictions, and then he also, just like small ant, is also under the rule of Supreme Lord. The Indra, the demigod's king, is also under the rule of the Supreme Lord. Even though he has a higher standard of life, and he has kamam loka pravarshati, so he has a higher responsibility also. So he is for the benefit of whole world. So he pours rain and he supplies all the necessities of life. So when somebody gets a higher standard of life, and he also gets the higher responsibility, so that we can understand. So like that, in every yuga, the Lord assumes different forms. Like I was explaining before, So he sometimes becomes a rishi, sometimes he becomes Siddha Swarupa, and then Jnana Swarupa, like that. Lord takes different avatars, different incarnations to perform different activities. So here some examples were given, like Yajnavalkya. So Yajnavalkya, he's been given some dedicated portion of Vedas so that he can teach it to others. So that the Lord assumes like Yajnavalkya, and he also takes the position of Dattatreya, like to teach the yogic system, the mystic yoga system, and then he sometimes becomes Sanaka, like these four Kumaras, and then he wants to preach the transcendental knowledge. Like that, Lord takes different incarnations according to time, place, and circumstances. So, and then immediately Sukadeva Goswami says that all this, he even takes sometimes Prajapati, Marichi, and then he becomes a king, and he punishes all the miscreants. Like that, he takes different incarnations. And then immediately Sukadeva Goswami says that stu yamano janairebir mayaya nama rupaya. So mayaya, like this influence of maya, under this influence, people become vimochitaha, they become bewildered. And then they could not understand how, the Lord's energies works. They want to understand the Lord, but if we gets bewildered by his illusory energy, it's very difficult to understand. Now, Prabhupada explains that how to understand the Lord is not through all these different incarnations or different avatars. We have to understand the Lord through his origin. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that Aham Sharvasya Prabhavo Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Mam Bhuta Bhava Samanvitaha. So Krishna even says that, you come to me, you worship me, Manmana Bhavavat Bhakti. So there is a reason why Krishna is doing that, because we cannot understand him through his various energies. It's very difficult because of his illusory potency. So now we can understand Krishna only through love. So that's why Krishna is asking everyone to reciprocate him with this love, bhakti bhav. So that way we can understand not only, Krishna means everything. Krishna, behind Krishna, the whole creation is there. So the whole supreme, the whole manifestation of all the energies is behind Krishna. So when we understand Krishna in his personal form, Satchitananda Vigraha, his name, form, qualities, activities, then we can understand the whole creation. So that is the reason why Prabhupada and all the acharyas, they were directing us towards the Supreme Lord. So just by chanting his name, we can glories, we can be happy, and we can also surpass this material miseries, especially in the Kali Yuga. Kale dosha nide rajan, there's so many falls. So if we have to surpass all these miseries, we just simply have to focus on the Supreme Lord. And then finally on the last verse number 11, now Sukadeva Goswami says that there are many changes that takes place in one day of Brahma, Vikalpas. So now he's saying that all this that he has explained in the previous chapter. So, uh, and then he's finally concluding that according to the learned sages, scholars, there are 14 manvantras in one day of Brahma. So Hare Krishna, this concludes the today's verse. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya vachaha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, devotees.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for wonderful class. Hare Krishna to all the devotees for joining the class today. Hare Krishna.